Hey, I'm Jay, and this is me reviewing a book. Today I'm reviewing Binti. It's the first in a science fiction novella series by Nnedi Okorafor, a Nigerian-American writer. Binti, she's a 16-year-old Himba girl who lives in a future Africa. Not sure how far in the future, but a good ways. The Himba are a minority group. They're surrounded by a majority of people called Kush, and they're separate enough. They have seem to have separate cities and stuff like that. She actually travels from her place away at the very beginning of the book. The Himba themselves have this very strong connection to the land, so they believe if you leave it, if you believe it, you diminish yourself. And indeed, like a major part of their visible identity is that they cover themselves in a this red clay and oil mixture that they put on their skin and in their hair. Uh, Binti has long kind of dreads with this inner, and it's called ojitse. And so the story, it opens with Binti deciding to leave home, leave this place where her, as I said, the Himba, they're very much connected to the land. She hasn't even been out, basically outside of her village, that surrounding area, much less what she's considering, which is she's gotten a full scholarship to the UMSA Uni, a intergalactic university, and she's like the very first Himba to ever get this offer, much less a fully paid one. So you know that this is an incredibly smart, amazing young woman right off the bat, and she's deciding to go without telling her family. You find out later in the book that she actually did tell them that she had the scholarship, but they of course think that's ridiculous. You're Himba. There's no way you would ever leave. That's crazy. That's just it's outside of their realm of experience. But she has this drive. She has this curiosity. She has this desire to know about outside of her specific area, and she's being groomed. Her father is a master harmonizer, and in this universe, the Himba are they can make tech. Especially astrolobes, which are apparently just very complex little. It almost seems like super amazing little smartphones. Like you're talking about, like she's got one like the size of a baby's hand, which they can use for various things. I know communication. I'm a bit hazy on that, and there seems to be. She's gotten all this knowledge passed down to her from her father, apparently through some kind of a trance thing of like 300 years of knowledge. So there's interesting things of here of like, is this magic, or is this just some kind of, indistinguishable from magic kind of technology? But she goes, no, I'm heading out. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to the university. And at first, I think you think it's going to be you think it's going to be sort of this, it's like Space Cadet. That's me showing my age, or a Harry Potter thing where she literally gets on sort of the space version of the train to Hogwarts. But no, things go very different, and this is where I think right off the bat, just having this these African nations, the Himba are an actual group of people in Africa right now. The Kush, I believe, is sort of Sudanese. Don't quote me on that, but this is like this is very much a future world where Okorafor has done this thing where yes, guess what? Africans get to have a future too. So she's extrapolated forward and given these, made this rich, complex world, where the Himba are this minority that they're dominated by the Kush, and they there seems to be they're exploited by they're because of maybe they're being so solidly just inward looking, only on their land. They've been dominated by all the other groups. There's interesting kind of like different layers of tech in the thing. She starts off with this dusty old transport, which is like 40 years old. She doesn't know if it's going to work. It's way beyond our technology, but giving this sense of history of this world. Binti has this strange bit of old alien tech which is called Edom, which at the beginning of the book she doesn't have any idea what it is. It's almost like a talisman that she's brought along. But yeah, so but it starts to play more of an important thing later on in the story, and there's stuff like, and the spaceship that she goes on is like, it's got biotech. It's like it's a grown, I don't know if it's a creature, but it's like, it's that kind of level of technology. It's not just like all kind of gleaming metal. It's alien. It's not alien. It's futuristic. It's in the way that you don't. Okorafor isn't doing anything by rote here. There's not, you don't feel like she's just saying, oh, okay, I'll just slap on spaceship. She's really kind of thinking through her tech, and I really appreciate that in a science fiction book. It makes for much more interesting, and sometimes you want brain dead stuff where it's like, okay, it's Star Trek, and you sort of know all the window dressing. This isn't window dressing. This is all everything that's sort of built into the thing. And there's also a lot of alien races, most notably the Meduse, a jellyfish-like race, which are ruled by honor and kind of a ruthless, cold logic. And it's into this kind of a universe that that Binti is taken through. And now this whole story is told in a first-person perspective from Binti, and definitely has, as I've said, kind of that young adult school novel feel to it, in the sense of, oh, we're going to go off the thing, but that quickly gets subverted, and that kind of, okay, we're going to follow any standard plot. Like, no, that gets subverted, and there's also just the thing of, though we're seeing everything through Binti's eyes, Okorafor obviously is very good at kind of making things of like, yeah, you're just getting things through her perspective, and so as Binti grows, that perspective changes, and you can also you can see in between. So it's got the layers that way too, which were, I guess, as an adult reader, that's quite good. I mean, though, Binti could probably kick my ass intellectually, emotionally, and everything right off the bat. This is definitely kind of the brilliant young wizard or scientist right off the bat. So you like it. This is the first in a series. There's 3 of them so far, but this in itself, this just number 1, I had a fully enjoyable, satisfying read. Like, I wasn't like, oh great, yeah, I just got chapter 1, now I have to get the other rest. I want the rest, but this is the story of a young girl going into the wide universe, and how that's unavoidably going to change her for good and ill, and possibly alienate her from her family back home. The you can never go home kind of stuff. But Okorafor's genius is to make that kind of a universal story, while dramatizing it in this particular world of this incredibly engaging Himba girl, and I can't wait for more of them. So yeah, that's my review of Binti by Nnedi Okorafor. More videos later.